Hey guys, Alon here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Alon. Today's video, we're going to talk about my favorite books of 2024. So far, 2024, I've read a total of 38 books. I'm on book number 39 now. I just want to talk about some of the books I enjoyed. I think last year I did read a lot better books. Like I feel like the books last year that I read were just really, really good books. A lot of them I feel like I will reread again. I think the books this year were good. They were good, but they weren't last year's books. So I think for 2025, one of my goals is just to really find really, really, really good books. I just want to have a better reading year next year. So that is my goal. I know for sure next year I'm going to be posting a lot more book content. I'm going to upload a bookstore vlog within the next month or so, so be on the lookout for that. And of course, just more book content in general. If you read any of these books, you can comment down below what you thought about these books, or if you plan on reading them, or comment down below some of your favorite books of this year. I would love to add those to my 2025 TBR. And yeah, let's go ahead and get started. The first book on the list is The Only One Left by Riley Sager. This book is about this woman. Her name is Kit. She loses her job and she ends up having to take this job as being a nurse for this woman named Lenora. Now, Lenora is this rich woman who lives alone in this house. She has like a butler, she has a maid, she's rich, but everybody in the town thinks that Lenora killed her whole family. So we unpack that story, but we get so much freaking tea. We get so much tea about everybody, the whole family. We get tea about the people that work there. We get tea about the people that died. We get just all the tea. And for somebody that's messy like me, I was eating it up. I was eating it up. Now, I will say this book, even though it is a thriller, it just had so much going on. To me, it read like a telenovela. And to me, it was one of those thrillers where you feel like you know what's going on. You feel like you figured out the story. You feel like you know how it's going to end. Girl, you're going to be wrong like 10 times. So the next books I read were The Housemate and Housemaid Secret. I just decided to put these two together. I really, really enjoyed these books. And if you saw my books I've read lately, these books were included in it. These are actually read within the last month or so. If you don't know, these books are about this woman. Her name is Millie. Basically, she's a felon. She went to jail for some stuff. It's unpacking these books. She has no choice but to accept a job as a housemaid for this very wealthy family in the first book. And that's all I'm gonna say. Second book is about her life after taking the jobs. I don't want to give too much away. Just know, if you have not read these books, I think that these are essential books that you have to read when you're in the bookish community. I feel like these books are like so freaking good, especially the first one. I'm not gonna say too much more, just saying if you like thriller, you should have already read these by now. I feel like I was late reading them, so girl, if you ain't read them, go get the books. What are you doing? Next book I read was Hold You Down by Tracy Brown. This book is about two sisters. They grew up in New York. Their mom died and they are raising their sons. And it just tells their story how like one sister is a nurse. She has, you know, really good job. Other sister, she was in the streets. And we see how that basically transcends to their sons. Their sons kind of go in these different paths and really good. That's all I'm gonna say. Really, really, really good. I really enjoyed this book. I wish there was like a sequel. For sure in 2025, I'm going to get into more of Tracy Brown's work. I just felt like this book was just a really good palate cleanser for me. I really enjoy reading a lot about like Black people, Black stories. I do like Black trauma books. So this to me was 1000% down my alley. The next book I read was Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. The book was just another good thriller. This book is about this couple. They win this cabin trip somewhere in like the snow. It's wintertime and that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say, because you really don't need to know more. This book is off the chain. You get creepy house vibes, you get creepy spouse vibes, you get creepy dog, you get all of the vibes. This book is the truth. And I really enjoyed this book because I read it in the wintertime last year. I believe I read this in January and it was perfect because they're like stuck in like the snowed in cabin. Really good book. This is one of the books that I really wish I read with my book club novella. I think this would have given us just a lot to talk about. This is another book where I felt like I knew how it was going to end, or I knew what the ending would be. And I was totally wrong. I was completely wrong. I was as wrong as they come, child. The next book is Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. Now this book is a romance book. And this is my year for like getting into romance. So this was like a really switch up for me. But I really enjoyed this book because it wasn't like the romance in this book wasn't like the focus. There was a lot of like moving parts and different people in the book to where I felt like this to me was just like a drama. It was just like a drama and it had some romance in it. This book is about two characters, Emma and Justin. They actually met on Reddit. I love that aspect of it because I love Reddit. I'm a Reddit girl. So this, like when I read the first page, I was like, oh, Abby got me. She got me hooked. I love that aspect of the book. They meet on Reddit and somehow, some way they end up in the same state. And it's like about them basically trying to like figure out their relationship and how they're going to make it work. But we got one mom going to jail. We got another mom who's showing her behind at any time possible. I think I liked it because a lot of the characters in this book was just really relatable. I thought this was another book that was kind of like hyped up because of, you know, the girls were just talking about it. Everybody was just reading it. But no, this book was actually really good. I do see myself rereading this book sometime within the next year or so. I think with this book, I'm going to read the two books that came before it and then read this book just so I have like more of a background, the other supporting characters in this book, and it kind of just makes sense. I would recommend to read this in the summertime though. To me, it just gave summer, like it was perfect for the summer. This is another thriller about a couple. The husband, he's like the perfect husband. He makes all this money. The wife, she's like the perfect wife. She makes cakes. She cooks all this food. She has the best party. She's that girl. So we think. We think she's that girl. We find out that they got a lot going on. And that's all I'm gonna say. That's all I'm gonna say. This book took me. I did not know where this book was gonna go. I did not know what B.A. Paris was trying to do with this book. But once I figured out what was going on, I was like, oh, I ain't never read nothing like this before. If you know, you know. This book was insane. Like, it's crazy. Like, I would love to see this book as a movie because this is a book I wrote in my book club and we really enjoyed this conversation. All right, and the final book is Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. Now this, I would probably say this is one of my favorite books of the year. This was the book that single-handedly got me into romance books. And I think I like this book because one, all Black characters, two, cover was popping, three, everybody in the book was successful. They had their own money. And it was like refreshing for me because I read a lot of like trauma books. And so like to just read a book where everybody is successful, everybody got their shit together, everybody got money, and it was a romance. Yeah. Natasha did that. So this book is about this woman. Her name is Janelle. Janelle's sister is marrying Janelle's ex-boyfriend. So she's going on this trip to Tulum for 2 weeks with her sister and her ex-boyfriend, now brother-in-law. Drama, yeah. Well, on the trip, she's kind of like feeling weird about it, but she meets this guy. His name is Rome. And it just tells their love story for the 2 weeks that they were in Tulum. If you wanted to get into romance, if you think romance might be your thing, if you want to dip your toe in a romance pool, get this. This book really made me want to read more romance books. I don't think I've read a romance book that I've enjoyed as much as this book, but this was a really good one. Yes, y'all, that is pretty much it for this video. Kind of just wanted to talk about some of the books I read this year. Like I was saying earlier, comment down below some of your favorite books of this year. Thank you all for watching. Comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.